OSG Sports Broadcasting Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Review. We kind of may have missed you last week during the holidays. We were not able to record a show during the Christmas break, but that's because...
Correction, they missed us.
Yeah, really? They missed us. We didn't miss them.
We all had holiday commitments, so the show did not get recorded, but that's okay.
Had holiday commitments, period. End of story.
Yeah, plenty of stuff to talk about. We're hitting the primetime season of bowl season here in college football, and there's so many topics to talk about. But guys, we got to jump right in. The game that had everybody talking, or at least most people talking online, I would never say everybody because not everybody watched or is talking about it, is the Georgia-Florida State game in the Orange Bowl, a game that Georgia won 63-3. I'm not going to give you grief about it because we knew going into that game that it was Georgia pretty much at full strength against Florida State's mostly junior varsity squad, and the game ended up like that.
I thought you were going to say Pop-Tarts.
The question that came out of this game is, I guess there's multiple layers of
absolutely
questions that came out of this game. The biggest one being a frightening amount of people who didn't understand that Florida State's best players weren't even at the game. Which is not to say that Georgia still wouldn't have beaten them. They probably would have.
Yeah. Some weren't even in the state of Florida.
Yeah, but it would have been at least a little bit more competitive than it was. Mm-hmm. And after the game, Georgia coach Kirby Smart made a comment that I found it interesting when he talked about how he felt bad for Coach Mike Norvell and the Florida State Seminoles because they were put in an incredibly awkward position, and most of their players opted out of the game. Mm-hmm. Be it from the transfer portal or going to the NFL, which left them with basically nothing to play with or for.
Not even a spring game more, Esther.
Yeah. Is this a strike on the bowl system, or is this just kind of the world that we currently live in?
It's a strike on the moron that sets the schedule. Hey, let's have National Signing Day and the portal during the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Gee, how do you not expect that to happen?
Yeah.
All right. In looking at opt-outs, injuries, etc., it was easy to see that the 27 that were not available for Florida State were far more important than the 23 that were not available for the University of Georgia.
Oh, yeah. Most of Georgia's guys were backups and players didn't play that much.
And you had 7 injuries with guys. It was like Brock Bowers, Big Mims. I mean, the 7 injuries, for Georgia, they had the backups, and you got to see the backups, and you got to see what they were getting ready for 24. I looked at the opt-outs and the portalers, and I could name 5. When you look at the 23 for Florida State, and you had 9 who opted out, and you had 14 who either portaled or what have you, 2 of them quarterbacks, 5 of them on the defensive line, 4, I think it's 5 on, there was 9 players in the trenches, 9 players in the trenches that were either portaled, opt out, or injured. 5 and 4, I forget what the combination was. 16 starters out for Florida State.
What? Yeah, they had one starter between their linebacking and defensive line core that actually played in the game.
So what did you expect? And this is the universal you. What did you expect when you saw that the individuals that were not playing for Florida State were far more impactful than the 7 that were injured for the University of Georgia, and the University of Georgia had the depth that was there? What you need to do is this. If you're going to have portaling happen, for your particular team, it should happen at the end of your season and run until February 4th, which is signing day, the first signing day in 2024. It should not start sooner. You should not have those options to do something like that. You need to have the calendar addressed when it comes to when you can do things. If you announce your portaling, it happens when your season's over. If you're opting out, then that's something else entirely. I get that. But you have to address the calendar in these situations. And I think the game with Florida State and Georgia was critical mass for understanding that the calendar has to be addressed, not necessarily the decisions of the student athletes. I'll give you another one. For Florida State, Ryan Fitzgerald. Ryan Fitzpatrick, sorry. No, I had it right. Fitzgerald, the kicker. He announced on social media that he was going to the NFL draft, but he still played in the game. So you have those kinds of individuals making those kinds of announcements. But the biggest thing here, you have to address the calendar. The idea of players going, I get it. Look, that's the universe that we're in. That was part B of this whole discussion. You have to address the calendar of when you can announce, when you can go, and what you can do. This, I think, was the shining example of when all of that stuff goes wrong, and I almost used the word ish. When all of that goes wrong and you have critical mass, you have what happened in the Florida State-Georgia game.
Now, the best part of the date you selected there was that the incoming freshmen that are signing know what they're getting into completely. Not, hey, I'm signing because they don't have any quarterbacks here. And then all of a sudden there's 3 more quarterbacks that you weren't expecting to compete against.
Mm-hmm. And that's key here is that, you won't
fairness. Yes.
Yeah. You have an idea. You have an idea of what you're getting into. National Signing Day is on December 21st. This year it was the 21st. It was just before Christmas, the Wednesday before Christmas. You have schools who are still active in bowl games. 90% of the probably 80% of the bowl games are still after December 21st. So you would have had all of those teams that didn't make a bowl game that were still to have big names, still got to have National Signing Day on December 21st. Then that time frame between December 21st and the national championship game, that 3.5 week period, that's when folks, you get that trickle down effect of, okay, my team has played, then I get to make a decision. Or I think what you can do here is if you, on National Signing Day, on the 21st, you go in and you sit there and you declare for a school. Then you have this mass portaling exodus that happens after the bowl game. And once again, this is taking our rules into play here. If we had our rules, the OSG Sports rules of engagement, if you had players declare that they were portaling after the game, then I think that what you should do, if you're Charlie Baker and the folks in Indianapolis, it's like, okay, look, if you've declared for a school and you have all of this mass portaling, it should be up to that individual whether or not they should rescind their offer and go peddle their wares someplace else. Because
but even that's making it more complicated than it needs to be, because if you want to adjust the calendar, think about this. The December signing period, early signing period for high school players, that's not that old of a thing. It's only been within the last decade that's even been an issue.
And it's become the more important signing day as opposed to the traditional one that we used to have in February.
Yeah.
Right. It's
early enrollees. That's all that's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with the transfer portal. The transfer portal is in the last couple of years. Adjusting those days on the calendar is easy. I mean, there's nothing in a rule book that says, well, we just decided we're going to go ahead.
There's no rule book. They do what they want.
We're just going to move all this stuff to
Hi, as the author of the yearbook, I don't think I should do this.
Yeah.
Such an easy fix that it's not even funny. And yet they just sit there and complain. Instead,
it's common sense. And as we know, common sense is so uncommon, it should be considered a superpower.
Yes.
And instead, we just have multiple layers of people just complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's given us at least 25 minutes of content today.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
And it was interesting to me with us based mostly here in Georgia, with the exception of Marty, who's based in Dallas, listening to the Georgia people. Florida State never had a claim to being, it's obvious this means they were never national championship contender worthy. They should never be in there. They're terrible.
I like to refer to those people as ones who don't watch football.
Yeah.
Oh, here's some highlights.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one of my Georgia friends even made a statement that this just proves that we should have been one of the best 4 teams in the playoff. No, You lost Alabama the SEC championship. That forfeits any claim you have to the national championship.
But this guy in a tank top told me I should think this. And he yelled.
Oh man. We all know the Final Four is about when you lose and who you lose to. It has nothing to do with the strength of schedule. It's about programming a television series. That's all it's about.
And at the end of the day, college football's no different than any other sport. The best team doesn't always win the championship.
What? What?
Lately closest to wrestling.
I mean, there are plenty of teams that could, in baseball, basketball, and in all levels of football, who could say, well, we're better than they are.
Go Rangers.
Yeah, but you didn't win when you needed to win. And at the end of the day, that means you don't get to win the championship.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
You get
That's
hot
how
at the right time. Hey, XFL, as we all know and love.
Yes.
My Arlington Renegades. Hey, it's the end of the season. We just picked up this quarterback. Let's go on a run.
Uh-huh.
And they ran it all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Moving
There's
on
an
a little
announcement today if you're a alternate football league fan.
Yes. We have to keep an eye on the unified version of the USFL and the XFL and the survivors and who doesn't survive. Apparently, it looks
they're
like
going to call themselves the XUFL.
I think they go into the UFL. I think they
UFL, and then instead of AFC, NFC, it's XFL, USFL.
Yeah, it's Michigan, Birmingham, Houston, and Memphis are in apparently, and also apparently Arlington, St. Louis, DC, and San Antonio. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. So moving on a little bit, you guys both got a chance to catch a couple of bowl games here over the last 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
We got to discuss those at least a little bit. Mari, you spent the week out in California. You got to do a little bowling yourself. Tell us about it.
San Diego is my home away from home.
There you go.
My wife and I fell in love with that area. Coronado specifically. Absolutely amazing. They do a great job hosting a bowl out there. Beautiful parade. They had a night before they did a battle of the bands. Amazing stuff. Like there's like a little Christmas market set up. It's a gorgeous atmosphere. Support your local bowl games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a good time. I gotta give some props out to Toyota. I know we shouldn't. I don't know if they advertise with this because those will get put in later.
Yes,
we don't. We
By our friends at Spreaker,
yeah.
good hosting service. They since they had a baseball field for a football field, they parked. So this was a ticket option that they did a few weeks before the game. You could rent a truck that had its own cooler and service. So you had 2 chairs down by the tailgate, and then you had bean bags in the tailgate and all these blankets. So you could actually, we didn't do it, but you could actually rent a truck that was behind one of the sidelines.
Was it a popular fan option?
It sold out.
There you go. Smart man.
But God, USC's backup quarterback.
Yeah, he was.
I think they're in decent shape next year.
Yeah, I think they're okay.
Well, scoring points has never been a problem for them. Their problem was always stopping people.
That's true.
True, and that's going to be water's wet.
Yes. Sun rises in the east. We pay taxes in April. Exactly.
Penn State's coach gets sunburns on his head.
Oh,
also went to the
Don't make jokes about ball
Coffee
people.
Frisco Bowl.
there you go.
Chilly, but fun. I did enjoy getting free coffee
How
samples.
fun was it?
It was very fun. My nephew Noah went with me, continuing our tradition of hitting at least one bowl game per year. Just the two of us.
I can't wait to see what the recruiting process is going to be like for that.
I don't know. He's a 2-sport guy.
See?
He's a dangerous hooper.
There you go. I can't wait for that one.
Nothing wrong with that at all. And
But,
John, you get to actually go to a game, but you did take part in the tailgate for the Peach Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Penn State versus
Which
Ole
is
Miss.
where the action is.
It is. I mean, no, it was literally it was weather in the 40s outside Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and we were there. We were there supporting our friends who got to see a pilgrimage of sorts, where Penn State got to play indoors. The roof was closed at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, 72 degrees inside, 40 degrees outside, and Penn State, for all of the talk about them being the number 3 ranked defense in the Division I, they got lit blank up by Ole Miss. No real surprise. Jackson Dart had a big day. Quinshon Judkins had a big day as well. A lot of yards in that game. I think it was over 1,080 yards of total offense, and Ole Miss put up a number on Penn State. And so once again, Penn State just gets to the point to where it's like they get to that point every single season. It's like, yeah, we're in insert bowl game here, and yeah, we can go to the next level with a win, and you just like slam into the wall. It's like the old video of the old Model T that goes up the ramp and goes up and over the field house or the farmhouse, and then just completely crashes. Or Wile E. Coyote chasing after the Roadrunner, and he goes right off the edge of goes after the edge of the cliff, and then he looks down, and all you see is the big drop, and it's just. That's what
or it's the Penn State marketing slogan should be, "We're Penn State, we're good, not great."
Yeah, we
were Penn
yeah,
State.
we were okay for another year. So yeah, that's what you got into with Penn State, and yeah, we did get to see the bowl game in Nashville as well, TransPerfect, which I think is some future participle tense of perfect. They are sponsoring the bowl game in Nashville.
The bowl game that you were hung up on the last time we recorded the show with the company that sponsored the the vodka infused whipped cream, which by the way, my wife found at the store.
Nice. Yeah, that was the
I'll need details later on the group text.
Yeah, the LA Bowl with the Starco brands or whoever it was, but yeah, TransPerfect is like some future perfect tense of the verb perfect or the adjective perfect. So yeah,
I thought it was the new season of Drag Race with
that too, absolutely. But yeah,
it's a transcontinental, and so instead of one country, it's across the globe.
It is TransPerfect. And so, of course, after the game,
that would be the topic of a bowl game in the highly conservative Tennessee state.
They would complain about that.
Making a change.
Yes, and so one team between Maryland and Auburn showed up, the other did not, and apparently after the game where Auburn got whacked, Gus Malzahn, Freudian slip on my part. Hugh Freeze decided to actually say that he wasn't focused on the game plan. He was focused on recruiting going into that game. So he didn't prepare his team for a game. Maryland showed up. They had two quarterbacks who got the team out to a 28-0 lead, and it wasn't even close after that. So congratulations, Plains. You got a great coach and a 6-7 finish, and the honeymoon is officially muerte.
Dude. That's kind of like when I just made fun of Penn State by saying, "Hey, we're Penn State, we're good, not great."
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're Auburn, we're average, and we change coaches every year and a half because.
Yeah. Well,
and we will not speak of New Mexico.
Yeah, no. New Mexico State, Jerry Kill, Diego Pavia, by the way, still in the portal, and someone is going to
Lucha Bravia. What?
Diego Pavia from New Mexico State, still in the portal. Got an offer from North Texas, by the way, the Mean Green. So whoever gets Diego Pavia is going to get a steal in the portal at quarterback.
Yes, and we should also be giving a shout out to one Mr. Jerry Kill, who has stepped aside as head coach of the New Mexico State Aggies after his bowl game.
He did great things.
He does win wherever he goes.
Yeah, and he's decided to kind of pull it back a little bit. And he said that he wants to spend time with family. The last 2 years absolutely wiped him out physically. We all know about the problems that he's been facing physically the last couple of years. And he wants to spend time with family. Maybe if somebody brings him on as an analyst, he would take that. But great job that he did at New Mexico State.
Oh, God, yeah. Way to go out.
And did really well with the Aggies. So that's some of the other storylines in the bowl games. The bowl games that aren't, the big bowl games, you get the great storylines later on.
I want to start a petition.
Yeah?
I want the Pop-Tarts Bowl to be a New Year's Six bowl.
Oh, God, yes. Whoever came up with the marketing plan for that game should be the president of that company.
President of marketing forever.
That was
the edible mascot, which I expected to be the thing's nightmares, was just an absolute delight.
And
that trophy.
Oh, yeah.
That trophy. combining metallic and real Pop-Tarts. I thought that was going to be awful looking, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
My wife and I are looking at that on social media and just losing it. Then when they showed him holding the sign and going into the giant toaster.
Oh
my God.
Oh yeah.
That was the king of all bowl games.
Yes, absolutely.
It was all downhill after that. Like nobody could hold a candle to that.
No one. You can't do it.
Little did we know years ago when the Duke's Mayo Bowl became a thing with the dumping the mayo over the coach's head, that would become trifling and small time compared to this.
Mm-hmm. And think about the national conversation that has now been had over Pop-Tarts and what our favorite Pop-Tarts are and whether you should toast them or not.
Quick, who played in the game?
That's a good See?
I can tell you every single thing that mascot did, though.
Exactly right. creeping out the head referee in a timeout. Absolutely.
Yeah, Kansas
State, somebody.
Kansas State over North Carolina State 28-19, and the only reason I know that is because I have a window up on my computer with the
let them think you're smart, dude.
Yeah.
Don't show them behind the curtain.
Come on, really? Do I look like I'm smart?
Hey, about time we go to commercial.
Hey, long pause.
Before we go to break, though, I got to ask Marty about the one game he probably didn't really want to talk about.
I want to talk about it. The
Cotton Bowl, where Missouri gets the win, 14-3 over Ohio State.
Yeah, I really felt for Devin Brown. He didn't really get a good chance. For those that follow Ohio State, the starting center went on a podcast that very quickly disappeared from the interwebs, making statements about pressure that is applied to coaches and then subsequently on players, how Ohio State goes about spreading NIL money, and how linemen get some of that money or don't get some of that money. Mentioning specifics about tackles that didn't sign with Ohio State and how much they were offered to go to where they went to.
Oh boy.
And for some reason, he had a bad week of practice and did not get the start. And I didn't see it during warmups because we were taking advantage of the Tall Cotton Tailgate, which is an amazing thing that the Cotton Bowl puts on.
Mm-hmm.
We were getting some very good food options. Apparently he was warming up with the second and third string center on the line. So that placed the previous right guard as the center, and then Enoch Vamahi, who's been a backup his time. So he basically had to get adjusted to a new tackle and a different center than he's ever practiced with. And that was evident from the get-go. That's not how you don't want to break out two new guys in a different position than they normally play against an SEC defensive line like that.
No.
Oh, it also
as soon as they caught wind of that, then came all the extra packages, and it was ugly from there.
8 in the box all day long, dare the kid to pass, and it turned out to be suboptimal.
It also didn't help that young Mr. Brown turned his ankle on the second series of the game.
Yeah, and keeping him in wasn't real smart either. Also, flexing him out to have him run a pass pattern was even dumber. But I digress. Also, I'm just going to go on this here. In the first quarter, it might have been before the second quarter, there was 3 special teams penalties, and we have a special teams coach who's tying up a full-time coaching position. He needs to go. He needs to go now.
You could also chalk a little bit of this game up to Ohio State having some sort of mental hang-up against the SEC.
No, that had zero to do with that and had everything to do with that line. Absolutely. Hey, that monkey got destroyed in the Sugar Bowl. His name was Zeke Elliott, and he throat stomped him.
That would be their only win in the last 12 games against the SEC. Yeah.
That monkey's gone.
I'm just letting that conversation run between you two. I'm just enjoying the noise.
I'll just show that CFP trophy we got. I have a T-shirt that has that Ezekiel Elliott run called it says 85 yards through the heart of the South.
There you go.
Yeah, I think Georgia's 2 and Alabama's 12 or however many they've won in the last decade probably trump that.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
Just ask the sports information department. I think Alabama just added another national championship to their mix.
And it involves 7-man football and a
Poll-
car dealership.
Polls that no longer exist with entities that might not have been the AP or the UPI back in the day and kind of created one. Well, I mean, and
Newspapers written by candlelight.
Yeah. movable type and the von Leeuwenhoeks. Yeah, absolutely. And we could name our own national champion, South Dakota State. There you go.
UCF has one too, I think.
Yes, that is true.
1 week.
Mm-hmm.
Just not to tie in what I'm wearing, but in 1 week.
There you go. Yeah, see, we
Go Grizzlies.
Yeah, we got South Dakota State, Montana. That's gonna be a fun one.
Guys, I think we're in a good place to drop off here and go to break, because when we come back in the next block of the show, John, what do we have? A special guest?
Yep, we got a cluster buster, as we say in the TV business. Al Mag from our VetTix comes by and gives the education as to what VetTix is all about, considering that we talked about him here on the show. And so we got to catch up with Al Mag out in Arizona about what VetTix is all about, not just during college football season, but 12 months out of the year. Very, very cool conversation we had, and it's worth your time.
One of our favorite charities.
We got that. We got championship game picks and more when we come back for the next block of the review. You are listening to the review on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network.
Please like and subscribe.
Over here in the OSG Sports side of things, we talk football. FOOTBALL. College football version here with the college football review every single week. But for those of you that like not just football with 2 O's, but football with a U, FUTBOL, there's the Soccer Down Here Network. I'm John Nelson. I host the morning show on Soccer Down Here along with Jarrett Smith, Nick Alifi, Jason Longshore. And if you're looking for the best information when it comes to the world of soccer, based in the southeastern United States, but we don't leave anything off the table. 9:05 Eastern time until 11 whenever. Sometimes we go for a while. SDH Network morning show, soccer's morning show, Monday through Friday, plus all the live events we do. It is your place and your source for soccer that is based in the Southeast, but covers everything on the world. SoccerDownHere.net, the Soccer Down Here app, available iOS and Android through our friends at Spreaker. That's like speaker with an R in the middle. Spreaker, do a search for OSG Sports, do a search for Soccer Down Here. All the soccer content all in one place. It is the SDH Network and Soccer Down Here. Welcome back to the review. We'll get to the preview coming up in just a little bit. But what we wanted to do, Brother Marty has been on the show in the past, and he has championed and trumpeted our friends at VetTix. And so we tracked down Al Mag from VetTix to kind of talk about the process through the college football prism, give everybody a bit of an education about VetTix. Al, thanks for hanging out with us here on the review.
Well, thanks for having us.
All right.
We're very, very proud to be here.
No, it's thanks for taking the time, because it was something that that Marty had, he had sat there and said, hey, if you're not going to a game, he goes to games, and VetTix is his default for donating tickets in situations like this. For those that don't know about VetTix, can you give a bit of an education as to how they've grown in a little over a decade and a half?
Well, we're 15 years old, started in 2008. And we've grown from literally a garage operation to the second largest veteran service organization in the United States with 1.8 million members. We are on the cusp of early January. We're going to be hitting a significant milestone of being able to distribute tickets to our members around 20. We'll be hitting the 20 million ticket milestone in probably mid-January. I don't want to be a forecaster, but that's probably about the right time. Our tickets come from individuals, teams, pro, college, from donors, from corporations, and so on and so on. Anybody that has an extra ticket that they're not going to use, don't let it go to waste. Don't give it to your relatives that you don't like, whatever it might be. Send them to us. It's very easy at vettix.org. And we'll take care of getting them to either some current serving military, including Guard. We also take care of all our veterans and all the different eras. We have first responders now that we've added that in the last 5 years, and that includes nurses, EMTs, police, and fire. So we take care of a lot of people, getting them tickets. The tickets range from the most tickets offered by us seem to be concerts. Then comes football and baseball and so on, all the different sports. We do family programs. Let's see, I'm trying to think of performing arts. So anything that has a ticket can be given to us electronically, and we take care of it.
And the interesting thing about it is, on average, if I remember the numbers correctly, and this is a couple of years old with my data, 4 out of every 5 tickets that are donated to veterans get used, where the number is far less for those of us that don't have these kinds of ties, and we just have these tickets just kind of laying around, and it's like, oh, I was supposed to go here, and now I can't go. When you get to send it your way to VetTix, they do get used, and the appreciation is just off the charts.
Well, as far as appreciation goes, we have over 1 million testimonials. And I think we all know we probably can't get our parents to say something nice about anybody. So to get 1 million testimonials from the VetTixers and First Tixers is just amazing. Yeah, without a doubt, our folks do respond. We're very proud of that. I think that helps us keep going all the time. And I'll give you a quick story. With the Chicago Cubs have their operation here for spring training. The general manager told me one time that the tickets he was donating to galas and other organizations, only 50% of the people ever showed up. So he stopped doing that, and I believe, we get most, if not all, their donated tickets that they're not going to use for their spring training games, because he says 98% of our folks show up.
That to me is very, very cool. And what's it like for you and everyone who's associated with VetTix, whether it's a volunteer or someone who's there in the day-to-day? What's it like when you get the chance to go out into the community to an event and get to have that face-to-face interaction with a veteran that gets to experience something that they may not have had the chance to otherwise, but having to do it through VetTix and getting to do it through VetTix? What's it like for the face-to-face interactions with you guys?
Well, I know from the stories from our team in Tempe, Arizona, that's where we're headquartered. They are thrilled. In fact, sometimes they go, we don't want to wear our T-shirts because I think we're bothering people. They're all thanking us. I can tell you my story is really simple. I'm from Chicago. I still have my Chicago Cubs and Bears tickets, season tickets. And I purposely made sure a VetTixer was going to be sitting next to me at one of the games a couple years ago. And I met this gentleman, nicest guy you ever want to meet, a lawyer, young man, probably in his 30s. And he told me, he says, I said, "Are you a VetTixer?" And he said, "Yes." And I told him who I was, that I donated the tickets. And he was very appreciative, as you can imagine. But what blew me away was, he said, "You know what? I'm struggling with PTSD. I don't get out much." And he was, I don't even want to use the word normal. He was as normal as anybody I know. And he was telling me about his problems. And he said VetTix has allowed him to get out with a friend and just be out, reduce a little stress, get some bonding with his friends or family. And he appreciates the tickets because it's just getting them out of the house and getting back to to where he wants to be in civilian life. So whether our tickets when we get tickets to people, a lot of people are appreciating because they're affordable, or they could never get the tickets. Some people are on deployment, and the spouse is going, what am I going to do with the kids? What am I going to do while they're gone? There's a million reasons why the vet tixers seem to appreciate what we do. And I can tell you, I'm not a veteran, but I can tell you I've known these folks for 10 years, and I've been working with them prior to that, giving them tickets from the corporation I was working for. And I couldn't be prouder. I smile all the time being with these folks.
As you absolutely should. So if I want to be a vet tixer in the idea of donating tickets and send them your way, or if I am a veteran or know someone who is a veteran that could benefit from vet tix, how do folks start that exchange and be a part of the process?
Very easy. VETTIX.org. Vettix.org. Simple as that. If you're a first responder, it's firsttix.org. So it's 1STTIX.org. And it'll take you through the steps, whether you're going to be able to sign up. We have a third party organization that verifies all our folks. So you just can't, you better have your information to prove that you are a veteran or a first responder. So and that's why all our donors appreciate that. There's a lot of them just saying, we want we want to help, and we want to support people who have given so much to our community or to our nation. And so they're very willing to give us tickets, but they want to make sure they're verified. And we do that. We that is 100%. And they trust us to the point that, as I said, we're getting close to 20 million tickets distributed.
Love that. Al Mag from VetTix hanging out with us here on the review. Al, thanks for your time. Thank you for the education. Thanks for all the hard work that you guys do there at VetTix and 1STTix. We're going to be keeping an eye, and you know that those of us here at OSG Sports, we're going to be sending tickets your way whenever we know folks that can't use them. Thanks for hanging out here on the review.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for sticking around, folks. You have made it to the last block of the show. I can't say that it's been a halftime thing because we actually had 3 blocks this week. And last time I checked with my math,
Hockey style.
yeah, halves are only 1 and 2.
It's the third half. It's like Yogi Berra. It's the third half of the show.
This part of the show, we're going to talk about the climax to the college football.
Whoa!
Yes.
Oh.
Parental
Yes.
advisory. Parental advisory.
I said it.
Wow.
The grand finale.
That's better.
The capper to what's been a very interesting college football season. The last and final 4-team playoff. Alabama and Michigan playing in the Rose Bowl. Guys, your thoughts on this game? An interesting matchup. Alabama comes in with 1 loss earlier in the season. Texas comes in undefeated, but really, outside of maybe the Ohio State game, how hard has Michigan been pushed this year?
Well, 3 weeks left in the season, when a certain person left their staff, things became a little more difficult for them.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to draw attention to a statement by a couple Alabama players regarding their practice viewing habits.
Yeah.
Where Saban instructed them to stop using the iPads to watch individual film prior to this game. Wonder what that's about.
No idea. Get-in price at the Rose Bowl at the Arroyo Seco, by the way, is $481. Not going. Not interested. But we do. I mean, you know, the decent the
that
other
$400 on a big TV.
Yeah, I mean, you got Wisconsin and LSU in the
or a mega gargantuan spread to watch the game on set TV.
Yeah, I mean, whoever ReliaQuest is, they've got the game at noon. Get-in price at the Pirate Ship is $58, and that's Wisconsin and LSU.
We're going. We're going through
Ding,
the list of games.
ding.
Ding.
Liberty and Oregon get in price $30 at the Snake Pit in Glendale.
That one might get ugly.
Oh yeah, take the over and take Oregon. And Marty's going ding. Get in to see Liberty
Ding,
get
ding, ding,
whacked
dong.
in the Fiesta Bowl for $30. And then Iowa and
A
Tennessee
lot more fun when it was the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, by the way.
for all the Tostitos, brother.
You can bring your Tostitos to the tailgate.
And then
Hey, think about it. They could have had their own version of Chip and Dip there for the mascots.
I'm glad you didn't say Chip and Dale. Thank you.
No.
Fill the trophy with guac.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or you
If
get,
they filled it with guac, then my wife and I would definitely be going because that is her dip of choice.
Okay.
I don't know if Tostitos makes guac. I know they make salsa, but that's a little messier.
Yeah. I like the Hinto lime from
Everything's messy when you eat like I do.
yes. Iowa and Tennessee take the under at the Citrus Bowl, $47 get in Orlando, Florida. I mean, that's like setting $47 on fire. Literally,
Of opt out, Tennessee quarterback Joe Milton, the latest player to opt out.
well, and the
Is he looking for his red stapler?
Yeah, the Ferences have opted
Brown
out
Milton.
at Iowa anyway. So offense has opted out at Iowa, and Joe Milton's opted out at Tennessee. So,
But what if a certain offensive coordinator who's just going to say F it
yeah,
just comes out with like throwing triple options, doing double halfback passes, like
so you're saying that Brian Ferentz should just YOLO it in his last game as OC?
Yep. He's going to come out wearing boxer shorts with Iowa print on them and a sombrero.
And that's
and
it.
He's just in a half-empty bottle of booze and just start chucking the ball everywhere. And he's going to have a monkey holding a dartboard with plays on it. He is just going to.
Dude, you sound like Stefan from Saturday Night Live, just sounding out
Third ring 20, whatever that is. Go.
The Citrus Bowl has everything. It has a monkey. It has a sombrero. It's got Brian Ferentz. It's got Dan Cortez.
Oh my God.
Oh, and the game is sponsored by Cheez-Its, so they get Cheez-Its for the winner.
Oh, and it's got Cheez-Its. Oh,
are they gonna have an edible mascot? Because outside of that, I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah, no. If it's not edible, it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah, unless it's a playoff game, nothing's going to top the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
No, absolutely not.
The Frisco Bowl had some cups of coffee running around in tights. That was amusing, but
what?
There's large
oversized
coffee cup mascots running around, which were amusing.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
In some
weird dream.
But they gave us bags of coffee on the way out and some of the hottest Takis I've ever had.
Oh.
I'm just now feeling back in my lips. And that game was like a week and a half ago.
I mean, Takis, that's a weird combination known to itself.
That, for some reason in the DFW area, that is the handout on the way out of choice.
But the Citrus Bowl has everything, including Dan Cortez.
Is he still alive? Back when I did college radio, we had a segment called Dead or Bad Agent, and we would name actors.
Yes.
And you would have to guess whether they were alive or if they just
dead, alive,
no
or bad
publicity.
agent. It's like remote control. It
Oh,
says,
that
says rules that this game show the Quizmaster is 72 whooping cough clang 10 over.
Imagine Dan Cortez being the host of the Cheez-It Bowl with all that going on.
But then you'd have to have Hader come in dressed as Stefan to make.
I'm picturing a Cheez-It bandana.
Yeah, I could.
John Mulaney holding cue
I got a
cards.
Cotton Bowl bandana now, so
I'm the cheesiest coach. I'm the cheesiest coach.
Oh my God.
Or do we get that horrible Cheez-It commercial where the guy loses all of his clothes sliding down the mountain trying to eat Cheez-It?
Oh no, that was awful.
Oh.
That one set commercials.
I had that was erased from my memory, and now the rest of my day is ruined.
It's like fat Santa Pac-Man basically was. And no, that was we now have nightmares. But no, I think legitimately that the team from the north, as Marty says, I think they lost that game that when they announced that Alabama was the 4 seed, because you saw that room completely late, and they got the O-ish.
Yeah, when they left that room, all the chairs had little clench marks on the fabric.
They needed to wash them. They needed to go and power wash all those chairs when they were done too.
I could go as far as make a prediction for this one. Alabama 37, Michigan 21.
Yeah, I think Alabama puts up a number against the team in the north, and then everybody's going to sit there and go,
you want to try to cheat, we're going to.
Alabama should have been in this from the beginning.
We're going to teach you a little lesson.
And then Texas and Washington Texas and Washington, the get-in price is 100.
John, you're rushing me, dude.
No, I'm not. We've been on the air for almost an hour.
Yeah, but I wanted to make a comment about Alabama. This is the first time I've actually wanted Alabama to win a game against anybody.
I can't.
Yeah. Hi, I'm a Buckeye fan, and I'm yelling "Roll Tide."
No, I want Bane from the Batman movie to do what he did to Heinz Field. That's what I want. I want the thing to open up and have both teams just drift into it.
But the Rose Bowl's so pretty.
But the Rose Bowl, with what they charge for people to park on the golf course for all of the bowl games, they can renovate the Rose Bowl without any problems. Trust me.
They can, but they don't.
And if it's $466 to get in, yeah, they can afford it.
Yeah,
that's not their price though. That's the
get in.
That's the people that are gouging.
Yes, and so no, yeah, I just think that they lost it at then when they announced the 4 seed. So I've got to go with the team from UAT. I've got to go with them in this one. Absolutely.
I'll be schadenfreude watching that game.
You gonna hate watch it? There's gonna be some hate watching here. That's without question. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. The other game, the late game of the college football playoff, Texas and Washington.
Take the over. Take the over, whatever the total is. Take the over.
Will this finally answer if Texas is back?
No.
They made the playoffs, so that's kind of a big step for them.
Ooh.
They've escalated themselves above the Penn State territory where they're good, not great.
Yeah, and then next year they're a middle of the road SEC team.
Yes, absolutely correct. The SEC West
when they play a non-Big 12 schedule.
Correct. Yeah, but literally, I think that Washington wins in an arena football game. Get-in price. Get this: the get-in price is $148 in New Orleans. Yeah, hit that hard.
Adjusted for playoffs, that's a steal.
Yes, absolutely it is.
It's a third of the price of the Rose Bowl, and it's in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. On New Year's Day.
It's sad when New Orleans is the place that has better parking.
I mean,
It's New Orleans. It has better almost everything.
I mean,
food for sure.
I mean, you go to Mother's for breakfast.
For sure.
This is not a challenge. This is get-in price at $148. You take the over. The game will allegedly start at 8:45 Eastern time. It might be done by midnight.
Yeah, 8:45-ish.
Yeah, so it might be done by midnight Eastern time. It might be
suggested start time
Central time. But this one's going to be the more fun of the two. I think it is. You've got the 2 and the 3. They're going to light it up. It's going to be. Bally should have just sponsored this one, because this one's going to be a pinball machine. Michael Penix is going to throw for probably north of 350, and you're going to see the same thing from Quinn Ewers in Texas. Look, take the over. Whatever prop is on the board, take the over. Yards, passing yards, points, time of possession, you take the under, because it's going to be just lightning
flying in from the top of the Superdome.
Seriously, seriously, take the over in everything, and you will make everything from the bets that
the Longhorn taking a dump in the midfield.
Yes, Bevo is going to take a dump. Go plus 0.5 the over. Take Bevo and the over. Look,
so Bevo's going for 2?
Yes, Bevo is going for 2. You are correct. All of those early juice boxes that you lost on things like Myrtle Beach and the Celebration Bowl and the craziness in New Orleans that went to overtime, and the mess that was in Orlando for the Cure, where you took the over and they averaged 22 points in a downpour. Make it all back by betting as many overs as possible on the props in the game in New Orleans. I'm not kidding.
So I got Bebo for a deuce.
Yes, you got Bebo for a deuce. You are correct. You
And
got two Bebos in one.
I think this is
No
John's
crap.
block for the week.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it is.
I forgot to say this at the beginning of the block, but I should have, but I'll say it here now. We record this show on Sunday mornings. The games are being played on Monday, so you may be watching or listening to this after the games have been played. This is just our thoughts on what
But you best be watching it before.
Uh-huh.
This is what we think will happen in these games. Obviously, the next time we join you with a recorded show, we'll know what happened and who will be playing in the national championship game January 8th.
And watch the Division I AA title game on Sunday the 7th, Montana and South Dakota State in Frisco.
Go Grizzlies.
It will be worth your time.
The warm-up for that championship game, which is, by the way, being played in Houston, Texas, not at a bowl game, just at a neutral site.
Oh, yeah, NRG, correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the get-in price right now for that game,
Oh, holy crap.
get-in price $1,567 to just show up at NRG for the winners of the 1, the 4, the 2, and the 3.
Yep, that $1,500 will get you a seat up in the top row of the stadium. Probably.
I'd rather spend the $1,500 and get 6 tickets to the Sugar Bowl and spend time in New Orleans. That $1,500 to get 1 ticket to the championship game. Take that $1,500, go to New Orleans, have fun in the semifinal. That's what you need to do.
John's travel advice for the week, guys.
No, one final note. Al Mag, once again, he wanted to just remind everybody at VetTix that they are a nonprofit organization. Just remember, when it comes to favorite charities, we don't endorse lightly here. And so when we got the chance to catch up with our friends at VetTix, once again, they are a nonprofit organization. Anytime that you have tickets on the board, anytime that you can't get in on your get-in price, you got stuff, think about VetTix and think about helping out others. They're going to hit a milestone pretty soon, I think in January, about the number of veterans that they've been able to assist and the financial value attached. So keep an eye on that as well. Big news coming up from our friends at VetTix.
And for those of you wondering,
Invest in karma.
Yes, absolutely.
During the course of the season, we had our college football on a budget segment. This is why we do it. Could not be a better charity, could not be a better group of people. We wholeheartedly endorse what they're doing.
No doubt.
Yes, there's
Guys,
2 things I always say you should do, and that's the 3-meat sandwich at Buc-ee's and VetTix.
Mm-hmm.
The what meat sandwich?
The
3 meat.
The 3
It
meat.
takes all decision out of what your barbecue options are,
I
a
go
little bit of everything.
I go pulled pork banana pudding and
and you're full for the rest of the day.
that is correct.
Yeah, the brisket and the Bucky chips are pretty good too. But that being said, it's time to say goodbye, my friends. This is the last episode of the review for 2023. Look for us to be back in 2024, bigger, bolder, and weirder than ever.
That's also known as next week.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Lots of stuff to
We're not
talk
going
about. We
away.
will continue doing this show. We cannot do it without your support. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in and offering any input that you can on what we should or shouldn't be talking about. But keep listening. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, share it on social media. Let people know we are here. We will continue doing this because we, like you, love watching college football, and we even love talking about it more. For OSG Nelson, for Brother Marty, I am OSG Phil. We are part of the Online Sports Guys team, along with Brother Wilkie and Brother J-Dub, who might have appeared in one episode this year and then has been missing in action since.
On a milk carton, brother.
On a milk
Yeah.
carton and occasionally does a puppy pick.
Uh-huh.
We have tried to get him back a few times with jokes and various other ways to encourage his participation. Hasn't worked so well.
Keep an eye open for our kidnapping episode.
Find him on the X at OSGJDub and let him know you want to.
Let him have it.
Tell him how much you miss him.
Don't hate me, bro. I had to do something. Have
He's
a
gonna
happy
come
new year,
back.
everybody. We will talk to you again in, depending on when you watch this, as much as a week or as a little as a few days. Thanks for
Soon as you
tuning
know.
in. Have a great week. Goodbye.
Please like and subscribe and visit onlinesportsguys.com.